Yes, this is a top 10 tweet from the professor, but it is in response to something that happened yesterday that I think many of you already know about: the Marvel X Secret Lair sellout. What I want to do in this video is not necessarily just complain all the time. I also don't want to go over this topic a million times here, but I want to just get it in through y'all's head as to why we cannot go back. It's too far. Not only has the monkey's paw curled, or whatever analogous kind of horror reference you want to make here, there is no way back because the corporate greed of Hasbro has officially taken us here. We as the player wanted it, but Hasbro then said, okay, we'll give you exactly what you want, rub the genie's lamp and you'll get your wish, but they took it too far. We had good intentions for how we wanted to fix the Secret Lair model, but ultimately where we're at now in 2024 and where it's just going to be going forward in the future, an artificial demand almost felt like it was just constructed for us, almost like we were trapped in this lane. So I'm hoping to provide some timestamps down below. Let's walk through the situation, and ultimately, again, this isn't really about explaining what happened yesterday, because many of you know what happened with it selling out and the waiting and all that, but it's to come to a conclusion as to where we are, where we will see things going in the future. Yesterday was the perfect example of why releasing exclusive cards in time-limited secret lairs is horrible for players. The promise to quickly reprint the cards is gone, and the Marvel drop cards are already selling for $100+ on the secondary market. What a disaster. So again, a quick sellout, a lot of people waiting in queues, a lot of people not able to get the product that they need. A lot of people were able to get the product early through secret methods that we're going to go through right now, and just a whole debacle in general. Now, a lot of this isn't new, right? The problem is that now these secret lairs are being attached to IPs and products that are going to be coming down the line. So the FOMO is real. There were secret lair products out there that were available for charities. There's secret lairs that are limited time arts. But now if the Universes Beyond cards are going to be available to us in standard, that creates this artificial hype for a lot of people, because they say, I can get the cards early and I can start playing, brewing, and testing with them. Folks, again, proxies are a thing. You can make up a proxy and then support your local game store by going to purchase the cards for that deck separately. Secret lairs are a direct to Wizards of the Coast product, and yes, we do need to support Wizards of the Coast as best we can, but again, through the means that we have that support the local businesses of our friends and family. There are ways to better engage with capitalism, but again, no ethical consumption under capitalism and all that good stuff, for those of you who need to wake up. Now, the US elections are around the corner, but it doesn't mean you cannot make your voice known. I'm a Canadian. I have nothing to do with those damn elections. But when it comes to voicing your opinion, it is okay to like Universes Beyond. It is okay to engage with Universes Beyond, but you can then, after this video, understand why certain parts of this aren't necessarily to do with the IPs, but how they're being implemented. The idea is good to get more people into the game. The immersion breaking and stuff is something we're going to discuss as well, but ultimately you are allowed to love this stuff. But if you love how it's implemented, I don't know. I hope I can convince you away from that. Now, you know, the professor tweeted out over an hour-long wait, and I believe they go live, like these secret lair drops, they go live on I think it's almost any day, maybe there's a select day, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. So again, for someone in Eastern Standard, big bonus there, but I don't really engage with a lot of these secret lairs. Can we please go back to the old secret lair system of print to demand? Everyone who wanted to purchase one was able to do so, and there was a 0 wait time. So let's kind of break down what they're talking about here, and kind of the welcome to Secret Lair Lounge here. Expected arrival time, you know, more than a PST, you gotta wait, all that stuff, double checking your information. So there is a queue, because they want to make sure the servers don't overload. There is a limited quantity, and they want to let people through as they kind of logged in. So what is the system that they're talking about here? And the whole monkey paw curling thing. So for those of you who don't know, this is probably an analogy they've heard plenty of times. Just Google it. It's a reference to a very kind of a very famous horror story about a magical like monkey's paw, and how, you know, you get the wishes that you want, but classically in the most twisted and evil and perverted way possible, you do get that wish granted to you. Now, speeding up secret lair shipping is our monkey's paw curling. So earlier this year, January 2nd, they announced a new secret lair system, and because the old system provided a great gap in when you would get your product. You would order the secret lair and it was print to demand. So you would print as many products as people ordered. And so the printing happened after the fact, which I think is almost kind of flawed, because I guess in the beginning, they saw that not many people were engaging with the IPs, but I think that was also poor marketing foresight, because once you started printing products of not cats and dogs or like cool alternate arts where instants were printed as sorceries, all of that aside, when products started printing as Marvel products, as Warhammer products, as Doctor Who products, I think it was a little like dumb to not think people wouldn't buy those out. So I think it'd be pretty safe to print out like a couple thousand or something like that, and then know that people will purchase those products, and then you can sell those out. And then if the orders go above that, then you can kind of print more, and you have this kind of initial wave of kind of purchases come out. So that's kind of nice. You could create like a wave-based system and have people get the products and do it that way. But ultimately that was not the implementation. People were getting them like months later, when at that point they forgot, the hype was gone. And so now speeding up secret lair shipping, they've limited the quantity, the product is already available. They just get your addresses, get your purchase, and they get it out to you as fast as possible. And I can't help but think that there are ways to better implement this type of shipping. And I can't help that, you know, with everything I just said, help but think that we were kind of coned into this, that we were bottlenecked into this new plan, thinking that Wizards of the Coast was improving the idea, but Hasbro ultimately, and I want to believe that the folks out at Wizards of the Coast have better intentions. As a company, of course, you have to make money, but because they're one of the primary like profit generating engines of Hasbro that owns them, I can't help but think that Hasbro had a plan in terms of long term for forcing them into this situation, for making us think that they are fixing this situation, but ultimately they created a bad system. Then they're like, here's a new system that we kind of flaunt around in front of you to create artificial scarcity. And so this is the thing that we see in gaming a lot now, where one of the games that I play actively, for many of you longtime listeners, I mean, Overwatch players, I'm definitely casual, I'm not like top 500 or anything, but when it comes to that game, they have a lot of cosmetic upgrades. And again, you're going to see this with many games these days, AAA titles and battle pass systems, where skins and cosmetics are limited quantity. You have access to the game for free. That's kind of where Magic is. You obviously do have to purchase product, but you could borrow decks and stuff, and you can proxy in certain formats like Commander, where it's not official. So you have like a free aspect to the game. But then when you go to purchase these cosmetics, because you're into the deck, you're into the commander, you're whatever, you want to bling out the deck that you spent so much time with, that is when things become really predatory in terms of the pricing, because they're available in limited quantities. And so that's where the secret lair creates this artificial scarcity, where no, you do have access to a lot of these cards, but then if you feel like you're not able to purchase it now through these special editions, that you're not going to have the bling. You want the prestige of being able to get a card like this. But also it gets worse, because obviously with the secret lair Walking Dead, where we had universes beyond, that was creating artificial scarcity that wasn't really artificial. It actually was a scarcity, because the reprint plan for a lot of these cards is not clear. And especially with these being universes beyond being licensed out, it's all based on how they license this out. We have Magic Online getting cards months later than when they were available in paper. And so even constructed formats where these are legal in, for Universes Beyond, it was largely Legacy and Vintage for a very long time. But now with these sets coming to Standard, Modern, Pioneer, everything, I can't help but think, like, I hope they fix the legality of these systems, because now Magic Online has to implement them. And you have to believe you are purchasing all of these cards, because on Magic Online, these prices are going to be artificial. Like, these cards are going to be artificially not available further down the line once the licensing of this product disappears, because you cannot purchase a one-time license for things anymore. Everything is a subscription. Just like how your printers are subscriptions, you can't print things whenever you want. You have to go purchase a printing subscription, even though you bought the printer, you bought the ink, all that stuff. Everything is a subscription. You do not own anything anymore. And that is where we're at with this. Now, Jake and Joel had a tweet here talking about, here's a tip, take a screenshot, cue your ID and all this stuff. And so this is where the line is paused. The line to get into the queue to purchase your product. Folks, the line, what does this mean? You waited in a line to purchase the product, then you get into another line where the line is paused. What? Nah, look, all I'm saying, the secret lair system, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They got these screens set up. They knew what was going to happen. What do you mean the line is paused? Like, folks, I want you to think about this was a page that they made. They knew the line was going to be paused. You think they're doing this live? You think they created the line is paused as a live screen? No, they knew what was going on. I'm not trying to get tinfoil hatty. I'm trying to tell y'all like it is. And ultimately, this is where you look at on the website. If you go to purchase the Marvel Super Lair, Super Drop, you're gonna see everything is sold out, right? There's some kind of pauses, kind of stock unknown, but the foil, non-foil, I mean, like the whole drop, all sold out. And the whole drop is important because we then had the Arcane Signet, your Earth's Mightiest Emblem promo, sold out as well. Because if you purchased above a certain amount in cash dollars, then you received Earth's Mightiest Emblem as Arcane Signet. Now, this is the Avengers Tower. They were trying to kind of show this off as like the Avengers symbol, but it's a picture of like the Avengers Tower. It's really weird that it's not just Command Tower or something, but whatever. Arcane Signet sees a lot of play in Commander, so I guess. When it comes to a promo like this now being unavailable. But again, if we look at all the prints of a card like this, like there's so many secret lair, alternate art versions, cool prints. I mean, look at this printing of Arcane Signet. Oh my, from Danny Pendergast. Like, wow, look at this is a really cool art. I mean, let alone like, you know, this one here from Ravina Kai, like, look at this. There's some really cool versions of Arcane Signet out there. And this is definitely giving like look at this. This is definitely giving like Infinity Gauntlet vibes here. And so you have all these different versions of the card. It's not going to be unavailable to you. You can't get this. But now the artificial FOMO for people who can't control their gambling habits, which is what all of this is kind of purchasing too. We've removed the ante from Magic the Gathering, but we bought back the gambling to you directly. Ante was indirect. You needed to engage with the game to gamble and play with the ante. But now Wizards of the Coast can beat the allegations legally, but getting you to feel that kind of slot machine-esque feeling. It's not exactly gambling. You're not winning a chance to purchase the product. You feel the FOMO. You get into an IP that you really know and love. You purchase the product and you're stuck in that cycle of having to engage with products that you finally engage with, right? You might have ignored the Warhammer 40K sets. You might have ignored the Doctor Who sets. But now finally, maybe Final Fantasy is around the corner, a JRPG that you really know and love. You're one of the millions of people that believe Final Fantasy VII is the best Final Fantasy out there. And then finally, you have a way to get into Magic the Gathering. That is how you're interested. You finally hit up your friend. You're like, hey, you play this card game. They got a Final Fantasy set. Can we try it out together? Can we go to FNM? Can we go to Draft and play that? Well, you can't even get those cards because apparently there was a link. It helped you bypass the queue and pay directly. This feels like cheating. And a lot of people were also talking about, I think there was a tweet by Saffron Olive and also from Pleasant Kenobi about a link going around that also allowed you to access the site by changing the time on your browser. That means you could have shifted the browser timing on your phone, on your computer, whatever, to like an hour before to get into the queue before. There's a lot of people using links like this and changing their browser timing to get a hold of this product before, which is why you saw a lot of the kind of front-facing users out there, a lot of content creators talking about how they could not get this product because, generally speaking, they probably weren't using those methods. Maybe some of them were, and they were trying to, create this whole facade of doing so, but hey, I'm not here to point fingers. I don't know if they are, but someone's going to be in my YouTube comments telling me, oh, the content creators, the tinfoil hats, they're out to get us. Don't watch YouTube videos. Like, whatever. You're sitting here like the damn video if you had a good laugh at it so far. But the link is there. Talking about Jim Davis's tweet, it feels like people are often complaining about too many releases, the game being too expensive, crossovers ruining the game, and Magic losing its identity. And it's everyone complaining. And then it's everyone complaining that they might miss out on a chance to buy the latest secret lair. And the hypocrisy is real. And it's obviously that dissonance of as a generalization, right? Like everyone complaining about how there's too many releases, games too expensive, crossovers. And then, there probably is another group of people that are missing out on a secret lair. There are many creators out there that are ambassadors, that are not ambassadors, whatever it might be. And I'm bringing up the ambassadors specifically because I was an ambassador and there was that whole controversy around what they are and what they are right now. It's not to point fingers at people. Those ambassadors that do engage with this stuff are great people in my experience. I've never had bad interactions with them, but they also engage with this product while also complaining about too many releases, game being too expensive, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm saying. Wizards of the Coast has found a way to engage you. The same people that complain about too many products, crossovers, too many releases, product fatigue, all that stuff, they can't keep up with the game. Those same people, they found a way to get into your minds. You like Final Fantasy? Great. You like Marvel? Great. You like DC? One day. You like Star Wars? One day. It'll all be there, folks. Every single one of these crossovers will be there, and they will find a way to grab you in and get you to want these products. And look, you know, you have to engage with the level of financial responsibility, personal, responsibility. Is this something you need versus is this something you want? And these are kind of personal discussions that you have to have with yourself, your partners, the people you love, and your friends, whatever. And then those are the type of decisions you need to make once you are informed. And even then, just kind of highlighting, actually not there, before we get to kind of that, even Pleasant Kenobi here, talking about, I'm an absolute hypocrite with this release. I really hate the price and value proposition, but I really love the cards. We all have our weaknesses. And so this isn't a dig at PK. This is just highlighting that creator aspect, right? As someone, PK is generally seen, it seems like on Twitter and on the internet, as someone who complains a lot. He does some complaining, but he does a lot of good stuff for the community as well. He just has like a harsher take on things. Look, that is my view of it. If you've had a bad interaction with him, sure. PK kind of highlights the fact that there are creators out there that generally have a lot to say about, criticism towards Wizards of the Coast, but ultimately, if there is a product that they love, that they engage with, if they create powerful cards and stick artwork on it and call it Storm, that gives other instant and sorcery spells Storm, people want to do busted things. It's not necessarily about the fact that Storm is on the card. It's the fact that the ability gives other things Storm. They're like, yo, I'm going to do this in EDH, whatever. I'm going to buy this Marvel Superdrop. That is where people get roped in to stuff like Magic X SpongeBob. And your dissonance with the ability to engage with the game is a different kind of discussion about getting pulled away from, the cardboard crack comics of SpongeBob attacking it and being defended by the 11th Doctor and all that stuff. Those are different discussions, because ultimately I think that, shout out to 33 Elk. I think they made a great video yesterday talking about Universes Beyond and a measured response, talking about how they ultimately view a lot of these products as game pieces. And it's really just not about the art. It's about the text box, and talking about how people get alters and they get alternate arts, and they may not seem like the version of the card that you're usually used to. And, that kind of grew over time, right? It grew from the feeling of you're at FNM, you're at your Modern Night, and you look across the table and you're like, wow, can I actually look at that card? And you're like, wow, this is a really sweet foil, or this is a really sweet extended art. This is a really sweet pre-release promo, right? Like, these are things that you did not recognize, but you thought was really cool. But once it became Universes Beyond SpongeBob, once it became Doctor Who, Warhammer, whatever, then it became a problem for you, because it was not an IP that you can engage with. You feel like it took you out of the fantasy feeling. But a lot of these are fantasy in different ways, right? It's how you think about it, right? Like, you as a person that feels bad that you are now playing against Iron Man in your modern games, you're ultimately being your need, your want is being shoved away by more people being brought into the game. And I think many of us can agree that if more people are brought into the game of Magic the Gathering, and more people are playing, engaging, creating, listening, and everything with the game, that is a net positive to the game. For us as players, for us as consumers, for us as enfranchised players, that is a net positive. But ultimately, the wants of those players who want to engage with Magic art as it is a valid criticism too, because there are hundreds of thousands of great pieces of Magic art and lore and story that have already been made by great artists and writers that have shaped the way fantasy is made now, that fantasy is drawn now, that fantasy is perceived now. And all of those feel like they are being lost. And I think that's a valid criticism. I will agree with that. There is so much great Magic the Gathering content, concepts, art, story, everything, as I just mentioned, that feels like it's being shoved to the wayside for something that is a little bit of corporate greed that will make them more money. Because ultimately, the fantasy writer being brought in to create Magic story is not going to be as engaging or make as much money as the Marvel Secret Lair drop. Even if they got Brandon Sanderson to come in and write you a chapter of Magic the Gathering, let me tell you, majority of y'all would not care. Tell you right now, stop. Don't go into my YouTube comments and tell me you would care. That does not matter. I care. I'm a Brandon Sanderson fan. I'm a Brandon Sanderson. I started at Wheel of Time. I read my Mistborns, and I cannot wait for the 5th book of his new kind of 5-book series to come out so I can binge it all. I would care. You would care as a YouTube commenter, but the majority of people don't. The casuals do not give a crap at all. And therein lies the problem. You can't show me stats to tell me the casuals care. The casuals aren't engaged statistically. They are casual. They're this erroneous piece outside that only Wizards of the Coast can tell us. Mark Rosewater in his design articles can tell us. The majority of casuals don't actually. We just have to agree with what they tell us. And that's where we ultimately land with people like PK talking about how they are engaged. They hate the prices. They have a lot of criticisms with it, but they love the cards. People have their weaknesses. They want to be able to engage with the products that they love, the products that they really kind of maybe grew up with, they played with in their games, they read in their books, whatever it might be. This is their way to re-engage with Magic the Gathering or engage for the first time in a way that they thought they never could. In a card game that's seen as a nerdy thing where pop culture has really homogenized and given you avenues to explore different things, like get into different games, physical games, card games, digital games, whatever it might be, media, TV shows, movies, everything is a tie-in and a crossover. And it's all like stuff like this didn't happen before. You watch your Disney Channel shows where Sweet Like of Zach and Cody kind of crossed over with another, you know, like Victorious crossed over with iCarly and all that stuff. Like those were all cool for us millennial children, right? Crossovers happened before. Maybe it's just the way it was implemented that you're really mad about. And Centric Phillips had a great tweet here. I had a store owner come up to me in MagicCon Las Vegas, and seriously, I say to me, Magic is in real trouble right now. Know anyone who can fix it? And at that exact moment, there was 16,000 plus people playing in a room of Magic. And this was in response to me at MagicCon Vegas reading on Twitter that Magic is dying while simultaneously seeing thousands of people enthusiastically playing, loving MTG in the biggest convention center in the United States. So why is the LGS player, the LGS owner coming to you and saying Magic is dying when the players are enjoying it? Because Wizards of the Coast has found a way to go direct to consumer. The secret layer model, and it's been very clear to many of you that have been engaging with this, that the secret layer model is a direct to consumer model. They have bypassed the store owner. You do not need to go to the LGS to buy these secret layer drops. To engage with Marvel to start with this, they have gotten you to go direct to Wizards of the Coast. They have gotten you to get your bread, your food, your sleep, your everything, your enjoyment directly to Wizards of the Coast, which is why the LGS owner is disenfranchised. Don't get it twisted. Cedric, what do you mean by this tweet? They think Magic is dying because their business is failing. People are coming in, they're not playing Modern, they're not playing Standard, they're not playing Constructed. Commander players are coming in, not purchasing product, they're using up space for free, and they're not engaging in any type of economics with the store, and then they wonder why stores are closing, stores don't like Commander players. That's just the truth of the matter. There's nothing wrong with Commander players, but on average, the Constructed player creates more of a money proposition for the store. They come in, they may play a $10 to $15 fee, then they kind of go in, they engage in some prizing. They might use that prizing to purchase some of the product in the store. They're there for a couple of rounds. So they might purchase a drink or something like that. They'll come back over and over again. They might bring their friends like, hey, this LGS is great. But then the Commander player just comes in, uses a table for free. Maybe they buy a drink or two just to hang out there. But generally speaking, they don't really buy product actively. A lot of them, they'll buy product like once or twice. They'll buy for a deck. They'll buy some upgrades for the more enfranchised player, but the average Commander player is not doing that as actively as a Constructed player. Now that is going to change because now Wizards of the Coast has found a way to engage the Standard players. They've turned Standard into a non-rotating format with foundations. They've created a sense of stability. And so now all those cards, the Constructed players have to care about, because it's not just the Legacy and the Vintage players anymore with these Secret Lair drops. It's not just the direct to modern sets in the Lord of the Rings sets. Everything, all universes beyond is in every set. So they've gotten the Constructed players to care. And so now in many ways, I feel like the LGS owners are probably going to make a bit of a comeback. In many ways, Constructed formats are going to be making a bit of a comeback. I applaud the way they got people to care about Constructed. I will let the monkey's paw curl. I will let the genie's lamp be rubbed and the wish come true as long as I can see Constructed succeed. I'll be here for it. I'm here for it. I'm happy to see Modern come back. But at these prices, it's also going to be hard to justify with the increasing cost of everything. This is Eric Friends' tweet from a while ago. This is 2024 January, and he kind of recently quoted this. He's like, "There's a lot of engagement with this tweet again. People don't know this is the outcome more predictable. 6 hours later, the new Secret Lair sold out and listed for 2 times what it sold. So this was Raining Cats and Dogs. I believe this was for a charity, if I remember properly, but it was a couple months ago, earlier in the year. And it's being sold for double. And guess what? We go to eBay, bang, bang. Look at these prices. I mean, yo, the Storm one, crazy. The foil prices go crazy. And you could see this on an MTG stocks tweet here, right? As the dust is settling on a frustrating Marvel Secret Lair shopping experience, let's run through some of the numbers on various drops on the secondary market. All numbers are TCG player low and market prices. Sealed is the box and contents are the separate cards bought individually. Let's go directly to Storm. MSRP $40. Sealed is $200. Contents are $180. The foil is $270, fam. If you are paying tax on that, Lord Jesus. Folks, this is the economy we live in now. Magic the Gathering is a stock now. Intel has been taken out of the Dow, I believe. Like my tech news has been a little lacking, but hey, shout out to TechLink for keeping me up to date every so often. But look, tech companies are failing. Nvidia stock is through the roof. Amazon is still making its people like piss in buckets or something. Capitalism is at an all-time high, and we can't go back because this is what we wanted. This is what the players wanted. They wanted a Secret Lair model that's faster. But then Wizards of the Coast like, oh, really now? Because that's exactly what we planned. Is that what you want? Well, great. We'll give you faster Secret Lair product, but you'll never be able to get it. Your friend might. The content creator you watch might. You might get a little disillusioned. But oh wait, you're a little mad? Let me bring you back in. Here's a little Final Fantasy. Here's a little SpongeBob. Here's a little DC. Here's a little whatever. Coming down the line. Folks, it's all here. This is what you wanted, isn't it? This is the Secret Lair that you wanted to engage with. This is the Magic the Gathering that you all know and love. It's just a pig with a little bit of makeup on top of it. Magic isn't dead, folks. It's alive and well, and it's doing even better than before. And I've said in the past couple of videos, it's just leaving y'all behind. The people that don't want to engage with any of this are being stuck behind. And I have to begrudgingly just follow along with it. I'm a content creator. I have a lot of not even, I gotta call it like virtual stocks, right? Because I don't have Hasbro stock or anything like that. It's just, I have a lot of investment in this game. I have a lot of cards behind me. I have a lot of formats that I play, a lot of content that I make. So just, I have to work with it. I want to shout out to Amy Amazonian's video posted yesterday, 16 hours ago. Marvel X Magic the Gathering Secret Lair was a disaster. I think they bring up a lot of great points in their video as well, so I just want to kind of shout that out. Shout out as well the 3-3 Elk video. I don't watch a lot of Magic the Gathering content, but when I do like to kind of point it out, leave a like, everything. Personally, I mean, if you're looking at my subscriptions on the left, not a lot of Magic the Gathering content, but hey, that's okay. I make a lot of Magic the Gathering content. I engage with a lot of it anyway. I don't need to be watching videos on it extensively, unless it's a Brian Cook Storm video. Brian Cook, shout out to Brian. Get on that One Land Spy, get on that Pauper content. I'm here for it. Brian Cook, teach me how to play Legacy Storm. Come on. Some Magic YouTubers out there, whew, gameplay is premium. There's some out there that have really mastered it. Shout out to Card Market as well for kind of game nightsing 60 card formats. Literally one of the single best things to ever happen to Magic the Gathering is Card Market's kind of constructed Magic content and everything. So there is a lot of great Magic content out there that's positive and great to engage with, that have Secret Lair stuff in them intertwined, but they really kind of develop it in a way where it's not really the primary focus. There is great Magic to consume. I want to shout it out there. And this video may be a little bit more complaining, but hey, if you enjoy, you may like the way Amy kind of brings about information and everything, then hey, go watch the rest of the Brawl content that Amy puts out. That'd be great too. I personally don't watch it, but every so often I do see it on the channel, or like kind of see it through, and then I'll watch it, give it a like, go through the whole thing, and give it its time in the limelight and on the algorithm. So anyway, that is where I'm at with Marvel X Secret Lair. Ultimately, it's what we wanted. It's where things have ultimately lined up, and there's no changing it, because these products will hopefully be printed later down the line in Secret Lair, as in the Marvel sets, as I mentioned. But it's creating that FOMO now, because people want these cards now. They want to engage with them now. They want to use them now. They want to play with them now. Ultimately, you can proxy them, and as I mentioned, proxy these cards and maybe support your local game store that believes it's dying, or maybe they're losing a lot of funds, a lot of profits, and go support them and purchase the cards for those decks that you are building directly through them, instead of constantly engaging with these Secret Lair cards, right? Stick to them at a minimum. Direct your, support your local game store, support your local environment that you use to engage with Magic the Gathering. That way, we can all succeed as a consumer base in late stage capitalism.